Welcome back to Arise Exchange on this July 3rd. From Africa to big paydays on Wall Street, a lot has happened in the world of business during this short week. Sanjay Sanghoee is a former investment banker and author of the book Killing Wall Street. And we get his thoughts now on some of the big topics. Sanjay, welcome to Arise Exchange.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, let's start with Africa. The president has said during this trip that he's setting up incentives for companies, U.S. companies, to come there because the days of increased foreign aid appear to be over. What are some of those incentives as far as you understand them?
I think the biggest incentive that he's providing is through his Power Africa project, which is a $7 billion investment of taxpayer money to try to encourage the development of power plants in sub-Saharan Africa. Two-thirds of the people in sub-Saharan Africa don't have electricity, and I think the president believes very strongly that the creation of an infrastructure for Africa is essential for it to become an economic power and to become a good trading partner for the U.S.
So how does that help U.S. companies, basically?
Well, General Electric will be one of the biggest beneficiaries of this agreement of Project Africa. I mean, they already have committed about $9 billion of capital to develop about 5,000 megawatts of energy to that part, and they will get, I think, another $5 billion or so out of this agreement that the president is setting up through the XIM Bank.
So this appears to be a really key development because a lot of people said the president was going to go there and not do a whole lot, but there really seems to be that he is pushing, instead of direct USA, company involvement here in the U.S. And you think that that's the right path here for Africa?
I think so. I think instead of just providing aid to these nations, I think helping them develop their infrastructure and an economy, and a sustainable economy, is what's going to actually bring them into the new millennium, and also allow them to play on the global scale. And I think it's very timely because China has been angling to get into that market.
Well, we're way behind on China, and that's what it appears that the president was chasing China there. He was like, I saw the Chinese president go, I better get there too. And you're a former investment banker, so I imagine there could be a lot of deals on Wall Street made over these projects.
Absolutely. And I think it's not just going to be on Wall Street, it's going to be in Europe as well, because a lot of European companies are also angling to get some of these contracts. And it's not just the power plant manufacturers, but it's also going to be people who service the energy industry. So I think this is going to be good for everybody, and I think it'll certainly help the sub-Saharan people. There are 875 million people there who don't have electricity.
It's really stunning, and you give them electricity and you start putting some dollars in their wallets and they're going to start spending. I want to pivot a little bit because you are an expert on shareholder rights. And we have been covering CEO pay here, and there's an article that recently came out that the day of have a say on pay is sort of now not really panning out. Why hasn't that worked? And when we're talking about shareholders having a say on CEO pay, hasn't worked, do you think, or has it worked?
Say on pay is non-binding on the boards. It's part of the Dodd-Frank bill. So it's toothless at the end of the day.
Do you think that shareholders should have that right, or shouldn't the boards be running these companies?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, I think there is a lot of conflict of interest in the way our boards are set up, especially in the major companies.
Well, we know that. The CEO picks his friends to be on the board and says, hey, I'll take you on my private jet. Why don't you give me a pay raise?
And I think you need to have stiffer penalties for breach of fiduciary duty on the part of the boards to get them to provide proper oversight. But a bigger problem with CEO pay, which right now is, I think, at 380 times that of an average worker, which is seriously out of whack, is that instead of being based on the long-term value creation and innovation of a company, it's based more on short-term performance, which can be gained very easily by announcing big deals.
And we've seen $90 million we've seen $90 million payouts for some short-term deals as so. So finally, do you think the government needs to enforce or change some laws here, or is this really about shareholders and let the marketplace fix this?
I think we require a balance of the two. Shareholder activism can certainly be a positive force in this area. If they, for example, tie the CEO's pay to a multiple of the average pay in the organization and the lowest pay of the workers in the organization, or if they tie the CEO's pay more appropriately to future performance, instead of just tying it to, for example, the first year, tying it to 3 years out and then clawing some of that back. I think that will give CEOs more incentive to make decisions that are in the long-term interests of the company.
Okay. Sanjay, I want you back soon so we could talk more about the CEO issue, because it's an issue that we cover a lot here on Exchange. Thank you. Have a good 4th.
Thank you.
You are watching Arise Exchange.